It was really a blessing. So what I don't like about panels is that I don't think you guys, yeah, I did. And you was outside. Stop it.
I got it for you.
Okay, so I don't like podcasts. I mean, not podcasts, I'm sorry. I don't like panels because I don't want to sit up here and talk about all the shit I've done. I want to help you get to the level that I've been blessed to be at. And so this is why I don't like doing it. I don't like dropping names, but since you asked me to, I will. So, my name is Greggory B. Smith. I've done a couple of things in the music industry. Shout out to Amani. I see you just entered the building. Hey, baby. BMI. Yo, who's BMI in here? Okay, who's ASCAP in here? Okay. Have you guys ever heard of CSAC? Okay, so I got in my game as the director of creative services for CSAC, and then I became the head of black music for CSAC for a number of years. After that, I walked away from the game for a little bit, and I started doing publishing with Monarch. And then I took another break, and then I got back into the game with two amazing people that are in the back of the room. If you know me, you know my crew is Ink. And Bryce Green, who's in the back, Sierra Flowers, who's in the back, some of the most incredible songwriters in the world. I've been blessed to be a part of a couple of people, Jack Harlow, Brian Michael Cox, my brother J.Q. Smith. I'm just blessed to be here. I don't want to talk about me. I want to see how I can help you guys. So, hey, we're here for it, okay?
Now, most definitely, I just needed you all to know how badly this was for you guys, okay? I need y'all to know exactly who you're in the room with. And when he speaks, you listen. And that's what we at right here. But if I'll pass this over to Christian.
Yeah, I was like, Madeline, you might as well roll off what you did and tell a little bit about yourself as well before we get into the panel.
Well, hi everybody. Y'all having a good time?
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. So, fun fact, I started my career with Greg. Greg gave me one of my first internships ever in the music industry. And he gave me my very first job at CSAC in the music industry.
Full circle.
Yes. Full circle. So this
And this is the first time we've ever been on the show.
Ever. The first time we've ever been on the panel together. So this is a full circle moment. Very cool.
So networking helps you.
But I am the director of event programming for Rival Entertainment. So I book shows at Center Stage, Loft and Vinyl in Midtown. We're iconic. If you haven't heard of us, there may or may not be some artists in this room that have graced our stages. And some people have curated events at our stages. And then also I am one of the governors of the Atlanta Chapter Recording Academy Board, and I'm a co-chair of the Member Engagement Committee for the Recording Academy as well. But essentially, I book shows. That's what I do. I book shows for a living, and I have the pleasure of having this as one of my mentors. And yeah, same as Greg, I want to help. I want to help artists. I want to help creatives. I want to help people get to the stages that they want to be on. So that's me.
And I know everybody's recording, so if I don't say this part, I'll lose my job. So recently, I was announced and named as chair of the MMF, which is the Music Managers Forum. And if you are, can I cuss? If you with the Music Managers Forum and you fucking with me and you are part of my leadership team, make some noise. Now, I got a couple of my people in the room. So the Music Managers Forum is an advocacy space for managers, for business managers, for self-managed artists and independent managers. We are your safe space. There are 9 chapters in the United States. Atlanta is the newest chapter, and there are 60 chapters internationally. And so we're here to help. We're here to help you because as a manager, how many managers do we have in the building? Do we have a couple? Nobody looks out for us.
Nope. No, sir.
And we're the first ones to get fired when the artists get hot. And so we're here to be a safe space for you. And so shout out to Sharon Tapper, which is my ED. It's an amazing space to be in. We're doing something next month, a Welcome to Atlanta event, and we're doing a membership drive because what happened is Amani said, make sure you talk about the membership. So we're doing a membership drive for all managers. It's like $100 to be a member, but because we just opened up the Atlanta chapter, starting Monday through June 30th, it'll be $25 to be a part of the team. And so we'll make an announcement on Monday. I need everybody. I need like 150, 200 people by the end of June. And we're going to do a small little get together called Welcome to Atlanta. So okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So all the managers in the room, do not leave here without getting next to Greggory, okay? All right, that's fair? All right. So we're going to start off with the icebreaker. All right, I just wanted to ask you a question here. If your career had a soundtrack right now, what song would represent it?
That's hard.
That's your soundtrack.
That's my soundtrack. Because my brother wrote that song. So, yeah, that's what it is. And I would say yeah, and then there's another song that you might have heard on a lot of syncs, and it's written by my boy in the back, Bright Screen, and it's called We Just Getting Started. And so, and that's been my mantra for the last year and a half, and since we got the MMF thing, we just getting started.
One more. Just keep it cool. What's one city besides Atlanta that you think has an underrated music scene?
Look at my boyfriend. It's actually, I can't even say one, it's two. One would be Denver, Colorado.
Live music is never.
If you know me, everybody knows I have 3 homes in the United States. Atlanta is number 1. We'll talk about number 2 in a minute, but number 3 is Denver. And so right before I took the job at CSAC, I did a really big project called the 3 Project, where we took all of the hottest MCs in Denver and we made an album. I came in as a consultant, and then I ended up producing 11 of the 17 tracks of the album. Because nobody knows that I'm a musician first before I'm the business guy. And so I got a chance. Holla at me. We got Denver in the building. We got a chance to meet the other day, and he walked up to me and said, I know you, bro. He's not from Denver. I said, well, bro, Trev Rich, AP, Ray Reed, Francois Baptiste. He was like, yeah. He said, wait a minute, didn't you do a writing camp with Rico Love? I said, I did, like 2 years ago. He said, I was there, bro. I know you. And so that's what the magic of networking is. Would you agree?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So Denver is my number 3 spot, but my number 2 spot, if you know me, what is it? Nashville, Tennessee. Because the problem is that a lot of people think when you say Music City for Nashville, they think it's country music city, and it's not. Do you know that there are 3 HBCUs in Nashville?
This, TSU, and Meharry.
Yeah. I don't know who you are, but okay, Robert, you call it out. Get that boy a drink. So Nashville is when I moved to Nashville in 2016. It's funny because we were at an event the other day, and I was just kind of moving around, and one of my mentors, Al Butter McLean, who's the head of publishing at Empire, walked up on me while we were talking to another young gentleman. He said, do you know who you're talking to? And I said, Al, don't do that, bro. Don't do that. And he's like, no. He said, here's the thing. He said, Greg left Atlanta in 2016 and went to Nashville, and he kicked in every door for black people in Nashville. Right. Whether it's Blanco Brown, whether it's Jimmy Allen, like we did a lot of great things there. And I'm a disruptor by trade. If you don't want to be disrupted, don't fuck with me. And so Nashville is an amazing town. People don't know that DMX recorded his last album in Nashville. Every album that has done has been done in Nashville. You know, because that's really, it's music city. It's not country music city. Country and Christian are the nucleus, but it's music city. And it's universal. That's it.
All right, so we're going to pass it to Madeline. Now we're going to educate y'all. So my first question to you is, what's one trend in music or entertainment you think people are overlooking right now?
A trend. Performing live. You cannot just be. You can't just live online. It does not translate. First of all, if you're looking to make money, touring, merch. You can do merch online in theory, but streams are only going to get you so far. So perform again. Obviously, you don't want to oversaturate the market once you're an established artist, but until then, once you get to that point, you have to have a product that is good. People, a lot of these artists will blow up overnight, and you see them and they suck. So perform again, perfect your craft, and be great at performing. So when people pay to see you, they're going to want to come back every time and pay to see you again and again and again.
Can I ask her a follow-up question? Because there's a lot of artists involved. So just a follow-up question. What about paying to perform? Do you recommend that for artists? I know that's like a big subject in the Atlanta hip-hop and music scene here.
I'm not gonna say yes. I think people that charge you to perform, that is fucking bullshit. Excuse my language. However, if you have no other opportunities and you don't have any other options to get on a stage, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If it's, if you're practicing your craft, you're getting better, you're honing in and you're perfecting it before you do get on the stage where you're charging people. If you don't have any experience and you're charging people to come see this, come see you, and you've never performed on the stage before, I think you need experience. I think you need to practice again and again and again. So, do I support paying to play, paying to perform? No. But if that is your only option to perform while you're up and coming, I think that you should be performing and honing your craft as much as possible.
Well, we're going to get into it just so we can educate you guys here tonight. So I did have a question. With over 20 years in the music industry, what's been the biggest shift you've seen in the artist development from when you first started?
There is no artist development. There is no artist development. I think what happens, it's we blame. You don't want to blame anybody, but if you do, it's a lot of talking. I don't like over talking. And you have to take into consideration that, I think what happens a lot of times is that you get a one hit, and then people get behind it, and then you don't have a second record, and then you looking like trash, and then and no disrespect to TikTok, but you're not investing in an artist. You're investing in 20 to 30 seconds of a song. You don't even know the whole song. And so what happens there is that you get excited for a hot second and then it ain't popping anymore. And so it's unfortunate. But I think, I know I'm looking at, I'm going to call her out because she's in my face right now. You already know. It's one of my crew. Yep, you. That's right. Versus is somebody that.
Yes,
Versus is one of them ones that understands the trajectory of artist development and taking the time. And artist development is not just for the artist; it's for the songwriter, it's for the producer, because everybody's not ready the first go around. And so that's But we have people. If one person takes the time to do it, then two will, and two will, then four will, and so on and so on and so forth. It's like even with my writers that are in the back, Bryce and I have been together for almost 3 years now. But I met Bryce when I was in Nashville, and Bryce was an amazing sync writer. He did a lot of sync stuff, but he wanted to be a songwriter. And the best artist development I could give him was my brother, because I kept looking at him. I think, you remind me of somebody, but I don't know who it is. And then he said some weird shit about anime cartoons. There you go. I was waiting on you to quit talking to him, because I'm talking about you. What's up, bro? What's up, bro? And so what I realized is that Bryce and my brother are the same person. And when I asked my brother's been in the game as long as I have. And I said, bro, I found somebody that needs you. And he said, I don't help people because nobody helped me. And I said, nigga, I helped you. And so he took Bryce on, and Bryce has went from a sync writer to writing some of the biggest K-pop records in the last 2 years. He's doing a lot of great things. It's good. He had an amazing record called 1, 2, 3 Dance with a K-pop guy called EXO Chinyo, right? Chinyo. And so that record put him and Sierra and my other writer Alex, who's in Nashville, in LA at a K-pop camp that no American writers were invited to except for my 3 writers. We get home the following week, and I get a call from China, and they're like, we need Bryce in China with us. And I was like, oh, that's great. Let us know when. Yeah. So the 20, I don't remember the date, but it was a date. And I was like, oh, that's fine, because we got a couple trips we're doing, and then we'll be able to get back. They said, oh, no, this month, like in 10 days. And so Bryce went to China, did some amazing stuff there, and then from China, the record that just came out a couple of weeks ago, right? Came from that. So God is good, man. And it's not me. It's not me.
Thank you for touching on that, Versus. Hey, girl. Versus is one of my business partners at Energy Communications. We do PR work together. Artist that is somebody you should definitely tap in. She is that girl in real life, okay?
Real life.
And I wouldn't be me if I didn't plug in, because we did touch on artist development. Radar University will be launching officially on May 19th. That's the first day of class. So for all of the artists in here that are looking for an opportunity to be developed as an artist, please go to Radar University on IG, tap in there, and that's probably going to be one of the best things that you do for yourself as an artist if you truly value your craft. Okay, so I did want to tap in. That's Radar University. Okay. All right, so, and that's with Ray Daniels. That is the cultural referee. This is a new project for him. This is something that he is truly and dearly passionate about it. I will be one of the instructors there. First week is choosing your character. Do you know who you are as an artist? You can't start unless you define that first. So we just left on that one. And like I said, tap in with us, and I hope to see some of you in that room one of these days, okay?
It's a 13-week course, right?
It's a 13-week course. It's 2 tiers. We do have an opportunity for you to be in-house with Ray, so you'll be in-house, I think, 2 or 3 days out the week. You'll get one-on-one studio sessions, the whole 9, and then we do have virtual as well. So that's something that we're tapping in. So you can tap in with me. Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I tell Ray you love it. She used both outlets.
It was an opportunity as an artist. We all know we have to seize the opportunity, so I did that. But moving on from there, we'll jump into a question for Ms. Madeline.
Yes, Ms. Madeline, if you could instantly master one skill in the music business, what would it be?
I only choose an artist to sell tickets. I'm totally joking. But I do book shows for a living, and it is something that is challenging. And it's you can't, because you have 200,000 followers does not mean you can sell 200 tickets.
And you sell 20.
You may not be able to. And so I think we can sell tickets, and how do we continue to break the divide between your social media following and how many tickets you can sell? Because, you know, the way to make money is shows and marketing. Merch. Shows and merch are what bring in the dollars. Obviously, streams are great, but you can have a bunch of streams, you can have a bunch of followers, and not necessarily sell a bunch of tickets. So it's kind of a gamble out here. And I think we do a pretty good job, but honing in on, you know, the divide between the followers and the ticket sales, I think is the biggest challenge and the biggest hurdle that I have to go through every day.
How much time do you think an artist should take to prepare for a show with selling tickets? Like, should they give themselves a month, 2 months? And you can answer that too. That's a good question for an artist.
I think honestly it's different from every single artist. Like, I've had artists, for example, I have a show coming up with an artist named Nuda, if any of y'all know him. We sold out Center Stage today. The last show I did with him, and he's local, Atlanta. You know, he's not huge yet, and he sold out Center Stage. The last show I did with him, we did it Loft. It sold 550 tickets in 5 days. But we've had other shows, you know, that maybe sold out, but they sold out day of, and it took us 2 months. So I think there's not an exact formula for every artist. It kind of depends, because Atlanta can be a little late buy sometimes. I know every market's not like that, but Atlanta can be a late buy market. So sometimes we'll do shows and we'll see the majority of ticket sales in the last 3 days. And then we'll see other shows and it takes them a full 3 months to sell out. So I don't think there's an exact formula for every artist. You kind of have to know your audience. So yeah, it's different for everyone. But I would say as a whole, Atlanta loves to wait to spend their dollars. And so sometimes it doesn't take as long as it used to. Like in the past, I would think we would need a month. We would need 2 months. We've done shows. I was just talking to somebody about a show earlier we put together in 4 days and sold out. And so, you know, it really just depends. It depends on your product. It depends on your audience. You know, depends on your venue. Certain venues in Atlanta, you know, I would recommend Center Stage, Loft, and Vinyl. But, you know, it depends. Every artist is different. I feel like they're all different products, but it really just depends on your audience, honestly.
T, you want to follow up?
Gregory, I have one last question for you before we get back to the fun for the night. A little Q&A as well. We'll give you guys an opportunity to ask questions. Get as crazy as you can, guys, okay? All right, so what are some common mistakes that you see independent artists make during the process of trying to build their career?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think the first thing is that from an indie artist, how many independent artists we have in the building? Fantastic. One of the things that I would encourage you not to do is compare yourself to other artists, because everybody's not an Instagram artist. Everybody's not a TikTok artist. Sometimes you're from the ground level and you're just in a grassroots situation. You know, it's I think of for those that I worked for a gentleman by the name of Tricky Stewart for a number of years. So my business acumen is that from Tricky Stewart. And like I was telling a friend of mine this evening, every producer and songwriter is acclimated by 3 songs. So for Tricky, it would probably be Umbrella, Single Ladies, and Baby for Justin Bieber. And so, but there was another guy that he worked with by the name of Frank Ocean. And so I was blessed and honored to be the guy that broke Frank Ocean. Because what happened is that Nostalgia Ultra, which is an amazing mixtape, was 3 years in the making. We couldn't get it done because he kept saying it's not right, it's not right, it's not right. But Frank wasn't a Instagram or a social media artist. What happened is that he was a part of a crew called Odd Future. Yeah. And I'm going to tell the story real quick. I'm not going to be too long. I'm going to tell the story real quick because I used to always call Frank country boy dumb, because he was really the smartest guy in the room. And what happened on a Tuesday night when Jimmy Fallon was the late night at 12 o'clock at night, he introduced the world to Odd Future. And Frank Ocean was on the stage with Odd Future that night on a Tuesday. Wednesday on Tumblr, he drops Nostalgia Ultra and says, "Let me know what you guys think." That was it. On Friday, page 6 of the New York Times and the LA Times called him the second coming of John Lennon. Does anybody know who John Lennon is? Okay, we just want to make sure. That was on Friday. On Monday, we're in an A&R meeting with a label that I won't say out loud, but we're with the label, and they said, "We got to sign this guy. We got to sign him. We got to sign this guy." And we told him, "He's been signed to you for a year." And then on Tuesday, he was on the cover of Billboard magazine with Odd Future. That's what it is. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's ride is different. I think the other thing that you have to make sure is that you have a team, because you can't do this shit by yourself. And you got to find people that believe in you and willing to ride for you. I'm going to shout out my two crew in the back, Sierra and Bryce, because they're not my clients, they're my family. Like I said, I would tell you, if you got time, I have a podcast that I spoke on, and I talk very candidly and very emotionally about these two guys that I love so much, because they believed in me and I believed in them. And that's what it has to be. And Sierra will tell you, less Bryce and more Sierra, but Sierra will tell you, we don't agree all the time, but we understand each other. And that's what you need. You need a team. You need a team. You can't do it by yourself. There's no possible way. And it costs a whole fucking lot of money to make this shit happen. Here's the fun fact. And I know I'm going crazy right now, but here's the fun fact. Raise your hands again for all my independent artists in the building. Okay, fantastic. Do you realize that there is 150,000 records being released daily on social media or on DSPs, I'm sorry, for independent artists? We're not talking about Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga, Kendrick, Kanye. We're talking about independent artists. So what are you doing that's gonna stop the other 149,999 people that are dropping their shit the same day? What are you doing different? Dare to be different. I don't need another Migos because we got them already. I don't need another Uzi Vert because we got it already. Dare to be different and understand that if you're an overnight success, an overnight success takes 5 years. I'm the old guy in the room. I'm the Unc. Don't call me OG. Don't call me Mister, and don't call me Sir. I'll take Unc though. And so, with that being said, be present in what you're doing and be intentional. If this isn't what you want to do, don't waste your fucking time. That means Home Depot, McDonald's. There's a lot of people hiring. So if you don't believe in it, don't do it. Don't do it. And I see it. There was, what's the guy's name you told me? Foggy. Raise your hand, bro. Y'all know Foggy, huh? I got a 5 minute. I shook his hand and I said, "What's your name?" And I don't even know what he said. And I messed up his name. He said, No, Foggy like the air, bro. I said, "Oh man," I said, "It's a pleasure to meet you, brother." And then I walked up here and then Maddie told me, I'm sorry, I call her Maddie because she's been with me for 12 years. But Madeline told me, she was like, "Foggy came to this event. He's dope. He's dope. Like, he's fire." I didn't even know that, but now I know, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's important because your creatives know. Here's the other thing, and I'm gonna shut up after this. Don't be afraid. How many people are from Atlanta? Okay, put your hands down. How many people are here from music business that are not from Atlanta? That's my guy right there, Ohio. Because I met you the other day, right? I can't remember your name, but you know I remember where you're from. And so, Denver. Like, don't be afraid to blow up in your city. You can't go to LA. You can't go to New York. You can't come to Atlanta and win when nobody knows who you are. Blow up in your city and watch what happens. Because it bleeds into the other markets and they're like, well, why aren't we on this? Because we blew up at home first. I'ma shut up. Because I want to hear what y'all got to say. Okay. I love you guys. 100 grand.
I love it. One more question to Madeline and Q&A or? Okay, so let me pick a good question. Okay, here we go. Atlanta has become one of the most influential music cities in the world. From your perspective, what makes the city's creative ecosystem so unique?
Community. I think we care deeply about our community. We support our community. I think we have to continue to support our community. I think, so often people want to come here and record. They want to come here and make a movie, and then they want to leave. And I think it's so important to continue to invest in our community, to support our community, support our creatives here, and pour back into it. I think if we don't, keep our staples here, our staples being you guys, our staples being executives, if we leave and we don't continue to support the infrastructure here, like how do we grow the bases here? Another thing that just happened is there was a bill that was trying to pass for the Georgia Music Office. We lost, the governor did not pass it. But, the fight is not over. So we have to continue to invest in the Atlanta music community. We are such an influential place. We influence the culture, we influence the music. We influence the whole world, but especially the United States. And so we have to continue to pour back into our community. If you can, as you continue to grow, as y'all blow up, if you have the opportunity to utilize creatives from here, artists from here, creative directors from here, utilize your city, support your city, pour back into your city. I think it is so important.
Could you touch on what goes into planning a live show for artists, just a little bit?
Well, for one, we have to have a product. You gotta have a product. So it's great. You look great. Your online presence is great. Everything's great. Can you sell tickets? Great, you can sell tickets. When you get on the stage, is it gonna suck? I recently, there's an up and coming rapper. Was one of my favorite rappers. I was so excited to do a show with him. I went to the show. It was one of the worst shows I ever saw. And it was his first tour. He kind of blew up overnight. And I'm sure there's so many people that were so excited to see him, just like I was. And they went to that show and they're not going to come back. So it's like when you have the opportunity to grace the stage, you got to make sure you're ready for that. You got to practice again and again and again. Going up there and looking cool is not enough. You want to make sure when you have the opportunity to get on the stage that you have perfected your craft, that you're entertaining, that you have the banter, you have whatever your stick is, but you got to be ready for it. And I think that that's really important and overlooked. Like we talked about artist development, artist stage development is also equally important. So make sure you're ready to get on the stage is the biggest thing. And make sure you have a good product to give out. Do you have a good host for the show? Is there a good stage prop? It's not always important, but sometimes it might be, depending on what your show is, what the theme is, whatever. Make sure you have a good product and make sure people are going to want to see you again and again and again. If they saw the show, like, that's enough. I don't have to see them again. I don't have to pay for a ticket again. How do you grow your fan base? You want people to see them, that I have to see them again. Every time they have a show anywhere, I got to be there.
Well said, Miss Madeline. T, I'm going to send it back to you. Yes.
All right, so this is the portion where we're going to open the floor to you guys.
About artist teams, what do you all think is the most important roles for an artist to have on their team, an independent artist to have on their team?
Well, I think it depends on what your skill set is personally. For some people, it could be a manager. For some people, it could be a graphic designer. For some people, it could be somebody who can get you booked for shows. For some people, maybe it's a creative director that helps you perfect what you have going on. I think for every person it's different. I do always tell people, don't be looking for a manager if you ain't got nothing to manage. So don't be rushing to get a team before you're ready, but as you continue to get people around you and meet you that you click with and that have a skill set, don't put it on you to do it all yourself either. If you are meeting people and connecting with people, I like everything to flow naturally. If you're naturally making these connections with people and they have a skill set you don't have, and they want to work with you and you want to work with them, do it. But I don't think there's one thing. I think it kind of depends on what your goals are and what you want. I know artists that are great, big established artists, but they don't have a manager and they can make it work, but maybe they need a tour manager because they need to go on tour and that's something they don't want to think about and they don't want to have to invest in every day. So it really depends on the person and what your needs are. But I think it's all important. So where's your skill set? If your skill set is in social media, but you need help managing the tour and getting booked, get an agent, get a booking manager, get somebody like that. So I wish I had an answer that's okay, this works for everybody. It does. There's not one answer for everybody.
Hold on one moment.
Really, really quickly, guys, if you are
And so, but I don't even know you, but the fact that you know Madeline and she showed you love, evidently you have something going on. So I look forward to touching base with you once this is done. But yeah, that's what it is, bro.
All right.
Okay, and
Mic
I
check.
say,
Okay, what's your name and tell us your question? My name is Sajay. I do futuristic soul music, singer-songwriter, producer. I had a question about what is the spark that you want to see in an artist nowadays? We are flooded with different artists all the
Hold it down in the
time.
back.
Yo! Hold it down. Thank y'all.
it's amazing. Thank you, brother. Say it again.
Thank you. We are flooded with different things all the time on social media, TikTok, Instagram. What stands out nowadays?
For me, I think we've gotten comfortable. I don't think